You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. Hello. What's up? This is your boy and it's Luby, Say With Your Legs Media. And we are here again, once again. It's a Friday. And we're going to be talking cycling talk. This week I want to talk about, let's turn my mic up a little bit. Bring that to me. That might be a little bit better because it's not popping in the headphones. So yeah, my thing this week is I wanted to talk about, so let me just cover my face a little bit, but I want to leave the subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and do that. Appreciate that. So what we want to do is talk about Cyclist of Colour, influential cyclists of color, past and present. Some you will know and some you might not know. So it's too many to really talk about all of them in one show. And then as I was actually getting into the cyclists, like cyclists of color, black cyclists of color that are influential, that have done some things past and present, the list was getting longer and longer and longer. And in this list, I also want to include the rising African cyclists. We have about 10 pro cyclists that are riding in Europe that are off the continent of Africa, which is pretty impressive. So we want to include those riders as well. And yeah, so basically this week, so we're obviously going to talk about riders like the Williams brothers, Justin and Corey, and my man Bahati. So I'm just waiting on my man Bahati. At some point we will link up and we'll get a chance to talk. I don't know if many of you know about Ivan Dominguez. I believe they called him the Cuban Missile. And yeah, he was and probably still is fast. I know he's faster than me. I'm not even going to try. I was never a sprinter. I gave it a try. I sprint one time against some world-class sprinters. And no lie, I was standing up, probably pushing the hardest gear that I could push. And this world champion wasn't even breaking a sweat. He was sitting in the drops and we were in a full-on sprint, and I actually literally just went into this like sprint, like, you know, you sprint for the signs and stuff on the group rides, and I went into it. I'm winning this sprint. I am winning this sprint. And he just like rode up next to me, still sitting down, hands in the drop, and looked at me like, and then just rode past me, and I was giving him my everything. So the thing is, I'm not saying that I couldn't become a sprinter if I wanted to, but that wasn't what I worked on and what I focused on. So if you want to become a sprinter, you work on that. You work on the sprint skills and you become a sprinter. And if you like what I did, I did a lot of climbing. At the time, I was doing a lot of climbing. So it just didn't, it would have never synced. I never would have been able to compete with that person anyway, or even the guys that are sprinters of the day. So you're strong as what you work on. So you can become a good all-round rider like someone like Wout van Aert or Mathieu van der Poel, but the Mathieu van der Poels and the Wout van Aerts, even though they may try to get up and duke it out with the best sprinters, the best sprinters will always be the best sprinters, and bar none. That's the end of that. So I'm just going to, let's run see if I can find the video. Yes, it's here. So that's played. I'm gonna I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna play the video I have of the influential, well, not video, but just like show you who some of the faces are. And then as I do it, I'm going to pause it. So I need to drop me down there. So like I said, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I need 2 more subscribers to get up to 400 people. 2 more subscribers to get me up to 400, and then it's next to shoot for that 5, and then next we shooting for that 1,000 so that I can get monetized. So at first I was in a bit of a rush to try to get to the 1,000 subscribers, but I'm not at the moment. I'm going to try and like take my time and pace it a little bit and work on for next like when the next season comes. So I'm sort of writing off this season of getting in Europe and hopefully covering some races. I'm just wondering. I'm probably not even looking into the screen, into the thing, and I think it's because I have the camera the other way, so I can't see myself. So I need to look there. How you folks doing? So like next year, I'm gonna focus on getting into Europe. It's a must. It's not even a no if ands or but. It's a must. I'm that I will be in Europe and covering some of the races, and yeah. So that's what's up. So let me what I wanted to do. And my mic is not muted. The mic is up. That was close because I didn't even check that because I did have the mic muted earlier. That would have been a shame. So this is my man Nafex. So if you need some, turn it down a bit more. So if you need some music to play, that's like you ain't gotta worry about copyrights. His name is Nafex. It's Neffex. He's got a crap load of copyright-free music that you can use to you have underneath your shows, your intros to your shows. A lot of great music. So let's get into this video to show you some of the. Let's see you some of the riders that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm pretty sure some of them you're going to know. So let's grab that. Here we go. So let me So I'm pretty sure you recognize a few of the guys in there. So like I had Rashaan Bahati in there, Nelson Vales, the Williams brothers. For some reason, when I was clipping it up, the Williams brothers weren't dropped in there. So I do apologize to the Williams brothers. There's a young man. A quick story. There's a young man. His name is Devin Matthews. And for the longest time, I was mistaken Devin for Rashaan Bahati. We did a race up in Northern Cal. Team Satin was there, Montgomery. They weren't Montgomery Bell yet. They were about. It was crazy because there was a pretty insignificant like criterium, but we had like three of the biggest U.S. pro teams show up at this race, and I wasn't on any of them. I was still on my come up, but they showed up to the race. It was just a regular 4-corner criterium on a industrial lot that they were building that wasn't quite building. This was the beginning, of Silicon Valley. So there were quite a few places for promoters to put on races up in Northern Cal. And we did the race. The race was, I actually have pictures from the beginning of that race as well, too. I didn't think I was going to be talking about this, so I wasn't ready for that. But we lined up and we the race went on. It was pretty fast. It was pretty hard. And then with about 4 or 5 laps to go, the big boys were obviously lining up their guys to do their thing. And I was like, okay, it's going to get hot. It's going to get fast. And sure enough, it did. But with 2 laps to go, Devin Matthews, I got to find his dad's. I can't remember his dad's name for the life of me. And I know his dad quite well because I want to get in contact with Devin and see if I can talk to him. But Devin, 2 laps to go, took off. Brother he did a full-on sprint. He gapped the field just instantly gapped the field. It was amazing. I was like, who is that? Like that rocket that just went off. And when he took off just at the start finish line. When we got to corner 1, which was like halfway between corner 4 and the finish line was in between corner 4 and 1. When the pack got to corner 1, he was at corner 2. So he had doubled the distance. By the time we got to corner 2, he was on corner 4, just hit rounding the corner to hit the start finish line. And it's like I was like, you know, it was just like, because you can see, like, because there was no buildings built as yet. So it was like a massive open space and you can see all the way around. I can't remember the name of the criterium. But at the start finish line, you know, he was like, he was just gone. And then at that point, you know, all the big boys recognized that, okay, we racing for second place. And sure enough, he went on to finish almost a whole entire half a lap ahead of the field. And I was like, who is this guy? He later went on to ride for Saturn, I believe. I'm pretty sure he went on to ride for Saturn. But then he was just, from what I hear back, the feedback I got, he was just disinterested in the culture of cycling and racing and stuff, and like it just bored him. He just like, he was just so super talented, but it was just boring to him. It was just boring to him. So that's one of the riders that I wish I would definitely like to be able to talk to. Not trying to get him to get back into racing or anything, but just like to hear from him, like, you know, hear his story, who he raced for. And, you know, some of the reasons like why he, you know, fell out of love with cycling and stuff. And, super talented kid. But, yeah, that's Devin Matthews. Let's get on to, so I'm going to just run this again. So the first rider you see up is, Scott Berryman. Now, what I need to do is I do have information on him. Let's get that up and let's talk about who Scott Berryman is. And just to run down, so you saw we had like a David Lipscomb in there, like he's the diversity, equality, and inclusion in U.S. cycling. Maisie Wimbush is the young lady you saw. Josh Hartman, he came through Star Trek cycling. And a couple mountain bikers, Dalton Waters, Aisha McGowan. Do we got Aisha McGowan's picture there? I'm not quite sure if Aisha's picture's in there, but she's so obviously got the nation's #1 beast, Justin Williams and Corey Williams, whose picture I forgot to put up there, but I do have. You got Reggie Miller, former NBA national player, Hall of Famer, and all of that good stuff, and he's now massively into mountain biking. Hopefully one day I can get a story, you know, sit down and chat with him. That would be amazing. So if anybody sees this and they know Reggie Miller, you know, let him know I'm trying to reach out to him. It would be great to get him up here to have a chit chat. Obviously my man Bahati from Bahati Foundation, and who else? Shems March, who I don't know much about. Like she looks like she's a, like, does like an adventure riding type person. And you got Nelson Vales, and there's also a young lady by the name of Kitty Knox, who was racing in 1874 to the 1900s. She was a pioneer. She's born in Boston. And okay, let's read the story. The Boston native story of courage in the face of racial tension helped desegregate the cycling world and offered a hopeful vision for the future. In 1893, Katie joined the Riverside Cycling Club, the first black cycling group, and was accepted as a member of the League of the American Wheelmen, LAW law for short. A year later, the organization created a white-only membership policy. Kitty fought for her membership to keep competing in the 100-mile races. Finally, in July 1985, law accepted Kitty, making her the first ever African-American member. So that's pretty awesome. So that's Kitty Knox. And that was back in 1879. So as well as Major Taylor, you also have other riders that were doing amazing things. Let's talk about Nelson Vales. Nelson Vales, who was first introduced into cycling as a bike messenger in New York in the late 1970s. He raced road track professionally from 1988 to 1995, winning 4 national championships, the Pan American Games, and representing the United States at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Nelson won the silver medal in the 1,000-meter match sprint behind his teammate Mark Guzorski. So, and there was a lot of talk about that race, like a lot of people, you know how the black community is. It's like, Nelson, you should have just whooped his ass. But it is a really, really strategic race, and it is what it is. I'm going to let's see. I'm going to try to play this. I was told to talk about Skype. So yeah, I'm trying to stop it on a particular person. So that's Reggie Miller, who's now racing mountain bike, former NBA champion. He played for I don't know why. I think the Indiana Pacers won a championship. I think they did. I think they won one. But he used to go back and forth with it quite a bit with Michael Jordan, and then the Knicks. The Knicks, when they were having their run, the Knicks had when they were sort of good. And then as well as with Detroit as well, against Isaiah Thomas and all of that. So that's when there was some really good basketball going on. And now my man Reggie Miller, he's got his own team. His team is called Boom Baby, and he's mainly in NorCal, and he's doing a lot of racing, like a lot of mountain bike races. Like he just mainly does mountain bike races, and now he's getting into gravel racing as well. You haven't seen him do any road races or criterium and stuff, but he definitely likes the dirt. And the thing is, he lives up in the hills where he races to. So basically, his playground, his backyard is where he trains. So that's pretty cool to see someone like to gravitate and grab onto like cycling. So he's got some pretty good finishes in his age group. I haven't seen a win yet, but I've seen him on the podium like second and third. But I haven't seen, maybe he has. Maybe somebody will let me know. That is Reggie Miller. I wanted to get to my man Bahati. Rashawn Bahati. I got a better picture of Rashawn Bahati. Let me see if I can find the picture of Rashawn Bahati. So while I'm finding this picture of Rashawn is one of the coolest guys that I know. When I was in Northern Cal, he went out his way to support the shop that that I had with the other gentleman that I ran the shop with. So Rashawn has his event that he has every year where he goes out his way to make sure that kids who are not fortunate enough to be able to afford a bicycle, get a bicycle and get to experience what it is like to have a bike, and that freedom of being able to just like, if you need to, use it for transportation to get to school, or maybe you have a paper route you want to do, or, just to have fun, just to ride. So Rashawn gives, along with Giant, they do a program, is Rashawn Bahati. He's the Bahati Foundation. We can't forget about his dad and his mom, because they still are involved quite a bit with helping him get things done and put things together and stuff. And they the two times that, I think it was at least 3 times, but they used to come to the shop that we had in California, in Leimert Park. And Rashawn used the shop was in a way where they had the bikes delivered to the shop, and I brought them inside, and I remember the first year I pretty much built probably 80% of the bikes, because he brought them like a day or two before. So this was before all the pandemic stuff hit. So it weren't all of these, we're in a scarcity of bikes. Bikes were a little easier to get. So he was able to get the bikes in advance, and it wasn't all the juggling and jumping around trying to get bikes. And he brought all the bikes in. It must have been about 50 or 60 bikes that first year. And in the 1 or 2 days, I got pretty much all of them built. And then the day of, there were still about maybe 10 or 15 bikes to be built. And Bahati's guys came down, and they came and they knocked those bikes out, and they got them done. So that's what they had to do in the following years. But we got the bikes together, and we had a great time. So I can't forget to mention Ken Vinson. He's also an important factor or a member of the Bahati Foundation. It helps with like putting all the bikes and stuff together. So that's a pretty awesome initiative. And it also, I'm going to get into what I am actually trying to do in the future, and with Say With Your Legs media and stuff. So that's Rashawn Bahati. I don't even know where I had this picture. I thought it was on the desktop, but it's not on the desktop. Um, it's a really cool picture. And where would it be? I know it's on the phone, and I'm using the phone so that you can see me right now. It's not in there. Where would it be? So don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. That's Rashawn. Okay. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. So what I can do is I have the pictures here. So what I do is I bring up the pictures. Who do we want to talk about next? Aisha McGowan. I know who I want to talk about. And I want to be able to talk about people like off the top of my head because I don't have a script in front of me right now. So most of this stuff is stuff that's by memory. So I don't see his name. So I don't want to see his name. But that's him. Okay, here we go. So this guy I know quite well. That just popped up on the screen like that. I didn't think it was going to do that. So this guy I know quite well. His name is Elliot Hubbard. And this is the first time I've noticed this. I'm looking at his, like, this were like little baseball cards that they made of the teams. So this was I believe this was 1998. And he was riding for the pro team. This is a pro, like right now, this is, if you rank like how the teams are ranked now, like you have the Division 1 and Division 2. AKI is a Division 1 team. So he was from Bermuda. He was somebody I competed against, and it was also someone that I admired quite a bit as well too at the time. Let me see. I hope that's not too loud. And what I need to do is, so if there's anybody watching, that sounds crazy. If there's anybody watching, and you can hear, just let me know if the music is too loud over the vocals. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more. Yeah. So Elliot Hubbard, there's a bit of a, I'm not even gonna mince my words. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship between Elliot Hubbard and not myself, but I think the more or less the organization. I totally admire this young man. He's a few years younger than me, and what he did is just turn that down a bit more. So what he was able to do when he started his cycling, I think he expressed an interest in cycling when he was like 14 or 15, and he had the resources to go to France to live and race. So his parents, sent him over to France. That's where he lived. That's where he raced. So he became a part of the culture. And then I was a wee bit older than him. I got into cycling a little bit later. And then when I did get into it, I really took to it. And I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. And so I had been doing all other types of things, like, racing BMX freestyle, all types of stuff, like even dabbling in mountain bike. But then I got introduced to road racing. And once I got introduced to road racing, it was on and popping, baby. But Elliot and I, we had a couple head-to-heads. And in all fairness, they weren't exactly on level playing fields, because I was basically trying to ply my trade in Bermuda and maybe going over to the US and getting in a couple of races here and there while still holding down a full-time job, and then, trying to be competitive at a top level. Whereas Elliot, from the age of like 14 or 15, I'm pretty sure it was about that, he was in France and, basically in Europe racing right up until the age of like his mid-20s and stuff. So he was an outstanding talent. I believe at the age of 16, he won the junior French national championships. So he couldn't hold the title of French national champion, but, like the race itself, like, if it's a champion, you can actually go and race in the championship, but, the title will go to the first Frenchman. So he actually won that. So, like, as far as like top class riders, he was top class. So, and then we talk about the team AKI that he was riding for. AKI was an Italian team. They were one of the biggest, best teams in Europe. And Elliot Hubbard was racing for this team. And after 2 years of racing for them, he got to this team, and then he just quit. To me, it was like a massive, like, I was literally distraught. I was hurt. I'm like, yo, he was about to, go to the Tour de France. So, disclaimer. So basically, what I'm about to say now is basically what has been passed down. So there's a rumor inside of the peloton back then, in the 90s. Obviously, we know about Lance Armstrong and all the drugs and all of that. And what they do in Europe is they allow you to, as a new rider, come into the sport and do your thing, race your heart out and do whatever. I won't say do whatever, like race your heart out and, put your best foot forward. So this is what Mr. Hubbard did. But at the 2-year point, apparently, this is what happens. The doctors on the teams come to you and say, okay, you know what? You're pretty good, but we need more from you. And in order to get more from you, this is what we need to do. So they offer the riders a program, and they hand them a little something with a little something. And if you go and read, is it Tyler Hamilton? You go and read Tyler Hamilton's book. He actually deep dives into the culture of cycling and what they had to go through. So 2 years into his pro contract of AKI, doesn't renew his contract, comes back to Bermuda. And I'm just like, yo, dude, I'm saying to myself, like, why'd you quit? And I was not in his circle. I was seen as an adversary to not just him, but the people that supported him. Mainly the people that supported him. And the funny thing is, the main person that supports him, his son is now racing in Europe. So he's giving his son the same support that I was like begging for when I was trying to do my thing. Like, I just like, we don't believe in you. You're basically a wasting time. You're not going to get the support. So basically, I did everything I could. I raised money. I went to live in Spain for 6 months on my own to race and train over there. And everyone just called me crazy, called me an idiot. But then I came back and I got the results. So I just trashed everybody, Bermuda. On the bike, on the road, that is, basically. And so Elliot comes back. He ends up going over to like race in the U.S. as an independent. I remember that first year racing as as a solo rider, and he quickly got picked up because he was just totally like throwing a wrench in the spanner of all the pro teams. Because I remember at Killington stage race, and he took off. And everybody was like, oh, he'll come back. But guess what? He didn't come back. So I think like 10 miles to go or something in one of the stage races. I believe it was Satin or US Postal Team. They like realized, hey, I remember it was McCormick. It was like, I remember like you could see all of the fussing and stuff. Hey, this guy's not coming back. So they actually had to like, because it was Killington was really, really hilly. So they had to like, get a couple guys and just Engelman and McCormick and a couple other guys literally did everything in all of their power to bridge cross to Elliott. He didn't win, but I think he finished second or third or something like that. But, from that point on, they were like, okay. And he quickly was picked up by, one of the U.S. pro teams. So he went on to ride for Navigator. It's another U.S. It was a pretty big U.S. Team at the time. So he went on to ride for Navigator, and he did some good things inside it, racing with Navigator and stuff. And he seemed like he was enjoying it and stuff. A funny story was we were at Tour de Tuna, and I finally got to be in the same race as him. And we were at Tour de Tuna as a 6-day stage race in Philadelphia. And they had like a prologue. It was probably about I don't know what, a 1.8 mile prologue, right in the city center. Really technical, really, really fast and whatnot. And finally, at the time, Elliot was my hero. I don't care what anybody. Elliot was my hero. I see Elliot. We start chopping it up. yo, what's up? How you doing? You know, nice to see you. All of that stuff. Really excited, really excited. And for the prologue, you have a start time. So I knew I had a little bit of time before the start. I really wasn't worried about GC because I didn't think I was going to be up on GC. So I wasn't really too worried about warming up. So I figured I'd just show up to the thing like maybe 20 or 30 seconds before and just go and, you know, just go balls out and go do the thing. But me and Elliot, we were there. We were chopping it up, baby. We were like, yo, man, nice to see you. How you doing? What's going on? Blah, 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 this and that. You know, nice bike. Yo, you got a nice bike too. You know, like your kid is the team you're riding for. Yeah. And we just got into it. And then I said, okay, cool, man. You know, catch you in a minute. And, you know, good luck in the prologue. Good luck for the rest of the stage race and all that good jazz. I roll up to the thing and I'm like, you know, looking and you know, listening for my name, like looking up on the thing for my name, like the computerized the board or whatever for my name. So I go up to the comment. So it's like, what, you know, where's my name to? You know, looking for me. And then he looks, oh, your time is going. So I missed my start time. So the thing about the prologue, it's almost impossible to get eliminated unless you don't do unless you don't start. So the guy said, you know, so it's like, I think like a minute or 2 minutes between each rider or something like that. So he just said like, just go, just go. So I jumped up on the what is up there? So I jumped up on the little start ramp, and the guy that was getting ready to go up there too, he just moved to the side, and I just like, it was just so weird. People must say, black people, what's wrong with them? You can't take them anywhere. It was funny. It was just so funny. And I just went around that thing balls out. And come to like, because I was so frantic and so stressed and so like, you know, whatever, the adrenaline was so high now because I missed the time. My time was actually in the top 15 riders. And, you know, so I don't think it would have been there, honestly, if I had started the time, because I had already put it in my mind that I wasn't going to be in contention. But because I started, so everyone else had these times of, say if the time was 7 minutes or something, my time was like 11 minutes, you know, and it was just like, you know, so when they reported it back to the local newspaper in Bermuda, and then they saw Elliot's time, and then they saw my time, everybody was like, what the hell? You know, how come you're like so much slower than everybody else? What's going on? So then I actually talked to the press and explained to them what happened and stuff. And it didn't look good. It didn't go down well. Anything to discredit me at the time, they were going to take it and hold it and run with it. So I mentioned Elliot has a really good friend. He owns a bike shop in Bermuda. He was actually from the UK and he came to live in Bermuda, not mentioning his name on purpose, but he came to Bermuda and he did triathlon, then he got into cycling, and he was like, you know, a really good cyclist. And up until the point where he said in one time a news article, he had gone to Canada to do a triathlon or as a road race. And then he came back and he said that racing overseas for locals doesn't make sense because we would never be able to compete. We were just not talented enough to be able to compete. It's too hard. So he said this after he got pretty much blown out of the water when he went over there. So he said, this is what he said. And I read this and I was like, nah, man. You can't come back and you can't spew stuff like that. So if anybody who sees this that knows him, go back and find, it's in the newspaper. It's not something it's in the newspaper. And I was like, yo. So from that point on, it was even more in me to want to go overseas to race. And when I did decide that I wanted to go overseas to race, I got no encouragement from the Bicycle Association. Everything I had to do on my own. Trying to have little like dinners and stuff, like family putting on little dinners or making baked goods and selling them in front of the supermarkets, trying to do little fashion shows or have a party or whatnot. I did everything I could to try and raise money so that I can go overseas. So I digress from Elliot Hubbard to talk about this person. Reason is because this person is like, he claims Elliot Hubbard almost like he's his son, and he got so much support, so much grace, so much love that he single-handedly, this put like a big chasm between myself and Elliot Hubbard, which didn't need to be there. We went to the 98 Commonwealth Games in Malaysia, and was able to get to that. That was amazing. That was like just going to Malaysia, the experience, just the opening ceremonies, everything. It was an amazing moment. And there was me, Mike Lee. What's my man's name? How could my Irish friend. He beat me at the national championships because of my ego. My ego cost me a national championship. At the time. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I can't remember his name. I so apologize. I mean, and he up to today, I would see him on Facebook and stuff and whatnot, and he speaks and stuff. So he's a really good guy. But we are in Malaysia. We're sitting up in the hotel. Well, not the hotel, but the athletes' accommodations. And we're sitting down there talking, and Elliot's this guy who really said he was actually our manager, traveling as the manager / coach for Commonwealth Games in Malaysia in 1998. And we're sitting down there talking. We're all nervous about the race. It's a big race. You got some of the biggest, because Australia had guys that ride in the Tour de France, and a couple other countries like South Africa, like just major, hitters and stuff. So this was like a really big moment, like, some of the biggest riders that I probably, in a race with up against and stuff. So we're sitting down, we're all comfy and comfortable inside the, sitting on the couch, chairs, whatever. Everyone's relaxed, chilled, having a little prep talk before the race and stuff, like, talking about the race. And then Mr. Man proceeds to tell us that, he said, "Oh, Elliot, this, that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that." And then after he finished, like, we knew we were there to support Elliot, because we're under no stretch of any imagination that, we were there for any other reason, because he's obviously the strongest rider, most talented. And he told us, Elliot this, Elliot this, Elliot this, Elliot this, and like, oh, cool, yeah. So, do your best. And then he looks at me, Mike Lee, and oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't remember his name. But he looks at the three of us, because we had a 4-man team. He says, "You guys won't finish." And Mike just stared into space. My good Irish buddy, he looked at me and I looked at him, and we were like, what? We had been, the both of us had been competing in Pro 1-2 races all year, or all year and the year before. And we had managed to finish quite fine, whether they were hilly races or flat races or criteriums. We held our own. So instead of taking stock of that, and instead of utilizing the talent that he had, like, we're here to support Elliot, to do our best and stuff. And, like for the feed zone and stuff, so this is what normal teams would do. Like for the feed zone and stuff, we don't want Elliot stressing out about feed zones. So when the feed zones come, I don't know how long you guys going to last in the race. It's going to be a tough race. It's going to be hard. But while you are strong enough to do what you need to do, you go to the feed zones, you get the, like, any waters, anything that we're giving out, and you make sure Elliot gets that and stuff. Just do, if he has a punch or anything or flat out, you guys make sure you do your best to try to get him back to getting back into the race and stuff. Just just do what teams do, like what supporting riders do. We didn't get that talk. We got the talk to tell us that we ain't shit. Man, straight to our face that we ain't shit. No rules. No, just Elliot's gonna go out there and do it all himself. And I went there with in my head that I was going to do or die for this man, Elliot Abbott. I was going to do or die and ride my ass off. But with that being said, I just I just checked out. After that, I just checked out. It was no reason for me not to finish that race with the field. That field wasn't. They had a couple, guys in there that were, superstars and stuff. But the average speed and everything was nothing I hadn't done. It wasn't beyond my capabilities. And what happened? What did I do? Man, I just checked out. Before I even and the race was the next day. From there I sort of went into party mode. I just la-di-da, yeah, whatever, put my shoes on, helmet, and I just checked. Normally I would never be like that at the race, because I even remember she was my girlfriend at the time. My ex-wife was like, yeah, super relaxed. I was like, I just didn't. Steve Sterrett, that's my man. I am so sorry, Steve. So Steve sort of had the similar thing. We sort of pulled out of the race at the same time, basically. Oh, and there also was anyway. And Steve Sterrett pulled out of the race, probably a half a lap after I did. And Steve, it's no way he should have pulled out. It's races that we had done at that level that just weren't beyond us. Basically, to finish in the field was not beyond our capabilities. And the fact that we didn't, it says a lot. I mean, I don't hate the fact that I didn't go there and do my best, but and this is the thing. It's like, if you're in that position, this is what I vow not to do to up and coming youngsters in the sport. I will give them introspective. I will give them prospective on what they can and can't do. And if they can't do it, I will find a way to encourage them to get to that point to where they can do it, or do their best so they feel good about themselves. But to do that, to just tell folks, yo, you ain't shit. We know you're not going to finish. It was just a total disdain for everyone but Elliot. So right there, a lot of the stuff that's built up between us, there's no reason to, none at all. So I still see stuff that they're doing in Bermuda, and I see stuff that Elliot's doing with the folks, and then I see what I'm about to be doing and what I would like to be doing, but I won't be doing it with them, and that shouldn't be. I should be reaching out to them to try to say yo, I see what you're doing, I see your program, this is what I'm going to be doing. I would love for you guys to get involved. I don't feel like that right now. I do have a nucleus of young people who I'm going to be able to draw from and encourage and pour into, and this is what I'm going to do. And so that's what Elliot Hobbit, man, they spelled his name wrong. I can't believe they put an H in front of the thing. It's supposed to but this guy, super talented. I remember when he came back and he won the national championships. He came first, I came second. So basically there was no one else on the island, at his level or my level. And he won, I think he was oh my goodness, he walked us. He was 5 to 6 minutes in front of us, and maybe even 7. And then that was in front of me. And then I came in solo second, and I was about a good 3 or 4 minutes ahead of everybody else. And then came, what was left of the guys that were still in the race. So the other thing that was too was like he came back. I think he did it on purpose. He mesmerized me. He came back and he had the Shamal Campanola deep dish rims. So they were the first like high profile aero rims to come out. When I saw these wheels, man, I was like, whoa. I was like, man, the bike look, I mean, he had all campy on it, like all of the best stuff. And I was just like, man, maybe that was half the problem is I was starstruck. So, yeah, I mean, his bike was just like, it was like, you know, yeah, he was awesome talent. So he's from Bermuda. He was born in Bermuda. And like I said, he, as a youngster, got to go and race in France. And then he progressed on to the pro level in Europe, you know, and now he's a lawyer. He quit cycling and he became a lawyer, if I have it correct. But I know he's got like a really high profile job and he's doing really well. So he, you know, and then that's what he's doing in Bermuda. And I believe he still works within the cycling community in Bermuda to help out with what he can, where he can and stuff. But great talent, Elliot Hobbit. It's a shame that I couldn't, you know, do more, you know, with him and work with him more and stuff and feed off of him. And just, you know, I think we would have grown the sport in Bermuda to a lot earlier. And it would be a lot bigger than what it is today. But that's what happens. And this is what we do amongst ourselves. We separate unnecessarily. Like, you know, we don't utilize the strength that we have. And I totally would have been down for any program to work with him and go forward with him. But I don't blame him. I blame the people that were around him. And the fact that they saw me as less than. And he was like, yeah, he was the golden child and stuff. He went on to go to 2000 Olympics and stuff. And I should have been there, but things happen. I got married, my daughter came, and just a bunch of stuff. So that just threw me off. And yeah, but I really do like I really do wish that we had gotten the opportunity to really push forward, like, you know, what we, you know, I mean, his talent and my resources. And my thing is, like, I'm more of that type of I see Natasha, thank you for the comments. But I see what I know, you know, and I'm more of a teacher in cycling. Like, I overanalyze everything. There are certain races I can tell you that were 10, maybe 15, that was going to be over 20 years ago. So let's not kid yourself in this. So they're back in 2000. So before 2000, so over 20 years ago, I could tell you about races from start to finish. I don't remember the guys' names, but I remember the moves. I remember what they done, where they done. I remember the announcer, you know, calling my name numerous times and stuff. And yeah, just like tactically, I know that I'm probably one of the most sound, like, you know, I could easily be a director sportif. So like, that's like one of the people who manage the team and, you know, instruct the riders and, like, you know, the best position to be in, the best way to climb, the best way to utilize any food that you may be eating. And that's just my thing. So segue from Elliot Hobbit into, let's drop this down, see if I can find that picture. That's that. Out of there. That's Bahati. We went from Bahati. So let's look at this really quickly. Just look at some of the other riders. Hey, Ivan Dominguez. We're going to talk about next week. Nelson Vales, Kitty, and Marshall. Major Taylor, and my Trinidadian friend who I'm going to introduce you to next week. Oh, we're still playing? So how do I clear that off the screen. Nope. You still there? Oh, man. Clear. There we go. Yes. No, but it's still playing. Okay. Anyway, we'll do that. So I'm going to bring me to the center of this. And into Ines Luby cycling. No, it's not Ines Luby cycling. Say it with your legs. The International Youth Cycling Academy. So this is my plan. It was a hope to get to Europe this year to cover the races and stuff and whatnot. But I was unable to, and I think it was a we, because I do have a couple people that are in the background that are helping out, and it would have been cool to be able to get to Europe to cover the races in Europe. And it's probably one of the most exciting seasons happening in Europe right now. The racing is just off the hook. There's a major race on Sunday, Amstel Gold, and I think my man Biniam Gourmet is going to be back for that one, so we wish him all the best. He had a really good start early in the season with a win, and he hasn't won anything yet. And I have a bone to pick with Intermarché because I really think they are not supporting that young man. He is so much talented, and he definitely needs a bit more support. But my International Youth Cycling Academy. So the goal is once I get to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure if you just come in and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, get me to 400 subscribers, people. And I'm going to use my resources to connect with the kids that are in places like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Gabon. These are the places that I know where cycling is really, like Eritrea and Ethiopia, big cycling hotbeds. And I've had kids reach out to me. I can show you messages. They've been texting me. They've seen my webpage. They've seen my vision, International Youth Cycling Academy. When is it starting? When is it kicking off? And they're really excited. I'm excited. But the thing is, I need to do all of the steps and get, to get to that. So the first thing is getting this here kicked off, getting this monetized. So, and if I would have been in Europe, it probably would have been a lot more subscribers by now. But the other thing is trying to get like financial assistance and whatnot. That's the other thing. That if I can't do it this way, then the only other quick way is with like a sponsor or an investor. So still reaching out, if anybody's interested. Help a brother out, But seriously speaking, it's a great opportunity, and if we sit down and talk, I can show you how and why it's a great opportunity and a great investment. What are we at? 53 minutes. We got about 7 minutes to the top of the hour, and then we're gonna call it a day. But as I close out, I'm talking about my International Youth Cycling Academy. So the whole plan is to be based in Europe, and while I'm based in Europe, I will go. I have linked. The thing is, I've been making some amazing contacts. So I have linked with like folks who are doing things inside of these countries that I mentioned. And so they would know, who the kids are that are trying to do something in the sport of cycling and stuff. So my thing would be to go get these kids, bring them into Europe, like into the mecca of like cycling, the world of cycling. And working with sponsors and brands, partnering with them to provide them with bikes, gear, food, and whatever thing that they need, and putting them in an environment where they can actually become competitive. They are not at a disadvantage, because that's the main disadvantage of most of the kids that are in Africa. I mean, it's some talent there, but if you see the bikes that they are using and the gear that they have, the jerseys are too big. They don't have the right shoes, and then some of them don't have the proper cycling shoes at all. They're riding with sneakers or just regular shoes on, just so many disadvantages. And I'm going to do my best to level that playing field, because once I get these kids, and the thing is, these kids, like, they're hungry. So they're going to be easy to work with. When you give them what needs to be done, they're going to go and do it because they know, the worth. They know what the end result is worth. For them, for themselves, for their families, for their country. So yeah, and that's the thing. Once I get these kids, and then it'll be getting them from my academy into pro teams. Once they're doing the things that they need to do, like they're going to all of the races in their age groups and the local races, and they're shining, and people start coming and talking, I'm like, yo, then from there, then the real business starts. The business of supporting them, supporting the academy, so that it can keep going, continue to go get more kids to develop. And so basically, yeah. So that's that. That's what's up. So I'm gonna close it out. We got about like 4 more minutes and stuff. And those that tuned in, I hope you hit the like button. I hope you subscribe to the channel, because I just need 2 more people. Yo, 2 more people for elusive 400. Will I hit 400 subscribers before the end of this? So I can't see it. Natasha, what's it looking like? Can you see? Are you still there? There is still time and opportunity to work together as long as you two are breathing and biking. You are absolutely right, Natasha. So it's weird. It's I guess trying to build that relationship again and all of that stuff. But hey, it is what it is. Natasha, still there? You gone? Looks like she's gone. She's a busy lady. And big ups to Natasha, because she's really helped me out with a lot of the stuff that I've been doing in the background, like getting my website together, reaching out to people. And yeah, she's done a lot. She's done a lot. And big thanks to Natasha. 1 more to 400. Yes. I feel like I just won the Tour de France. Well, almost. Anyway, let me stop. It's weird. I just got goosebumps when I saw that. That's crazy. That is so crazy. But anyway, like I said, I'm about to jump off of this. Let me just load up the one more thing before I go. I'm gonna just loading up my outro. I just want to say thanks to everybody that passed by, whether you said something or you didn't say something, whether you liked or you didn't, whether you subscribed or you didn't. Hopefully you'll be back next week and we can do this here all over again. So we can do it all over again. I promise you. I can't believe that hour went by so quickly. Wow. And I started on time. So I gotta get my 400 subscribers just for that. I started on time. All this. So all of those of you who are in the YouTube streets and they know about Pearly and all of that, talking about, we don't make time. I was on time. You bet your boy was on time. So I think I deserve to get my 400 just for that. So anyway, I'm going to play this intro, outro out. Thanks for tuning in. And next week we will jump in. And who knows, I may have a guest. I may have somebody to talk to. And we could kick it and see what's up. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Say it with your legs. That's what we do when we're out on the bike. We say it with your legs. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I'll see you next week. Say with your legs, media. You know what to do. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. I'm gonna try that one more time. I'm gonna remove myself, and then I'm gonna play that one more time. We're building a ship as if we fly it. I need to get a switcher, a little switcher. Once I get the switcher in front of me, then this will go a whole lot smoother. Savage Your Legs Media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.